If
Let
I
me
don't
text her.
text her because we can wait. I'm happy to wait, but and then I'm gonna go on recording. So
Tam and
oh, there
Heather,
she
wait.
is.
Tam is coming, yeah.
Oh, she's there. Okay.
Okay, so we
Because I
should
think she didn't have the link because she wasn't getting her
wait. I'm
CEC
happy
emails or
to,
something.
but yeah, she never
But
opened. She never actually looked. Okay, so here's
Tam and
oh, there
Heather,
she is.
wait.
And then I'll
Tam is
make
coming, yeah.
her.
oh, she's there. Okay.
Oh, so we
'Cause I
should.
think she didn't have the link because
Hi, Tam. Good morning.
Hello.
Sorry, I can't turn my camera on. I'm in public.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. We can hear you. Yeah, we can't see you, but we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no problem with my volume. I
Um,
wasn't receiving it was my bad though. I didn't see the sign up to, I don't know, link to that CEC member account for emails.
no,
Got buried.
but you got it now, Tam. I mean, I resent it yesterday. You got it?
I think so. I'll double check. I got a bunch of stuff from you yesterday. Let me
Okay,
check.
let me just do the formal opening just for the record. So this is, I want to welcome everybody to the Community Education Council. This is a working business meeting to discuss potential bylaws amendments. We will not be taking any votes today. It is simply a discussion, a venue so we can have a forum of what we can propose next week at our calendar meeting. Our calendar meeting is next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at MS 131, which I think is 100 Hester Street. Victor, is that
Hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So anybody who would like to attend may attend. It's also going to be broadcast. People can sign up for the broadcast on our website, www.cecd2.net, or you can also always listen to this on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is live right now, so this is being webcast on the YouTube channel. My name is Craig. Let me just let Sabina in.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just add her in. And my co-host. Okay. My name is Craig Slutskin. I am one of the council members. I would like to acknowledge Russ Mavlinov, Erin Carr, Sabina Serenise, and Tam Reed, who are also council members who are in attendance today, and Victor Ruiz, who is the CEC2 administrative assistant. So thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate it. Hi, Sabina.
Hi, Sabina.
Hi, Sabina.
Nice to virtually meet you.
Oh, is she? Are you seeing us, Sabina?
No, I think Sabina
Okay,
is
let's wait.
trying
Give it
to
one
to
for one
connect.
second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's wait 1 second
There it
for her.
goes. Yeah.
Can you hear us, Sabina? I saw a smile.
Yes.
I'm thinking it's a
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, my Bluetooth was on, my
Okay.
speaker, my headphones were on, but I don't have them with me. So
Okay.
I
Oh,
couldn't
right.
hear
So
you.
you're like, wait a minute.
So some
Hi,
random person
Sabina.
listening to our
Hi,
meeting.
Sabina. Nice
Hi.
to meet you virtually.
Yeah.
Yes, nice to meet you.
So we have as every CC in Manhattan has, we have or in the city has, we have bylaws. Occasionally we like to updates are needed. The last updates that we made were back in December 2023,
Mm-hmm.
approved. So I had sent around, and I think everybody at this point hopefully has gotten it, some
Mhm.
ideas of what I think we should put forth as potential votes. And just as a reminder, we will present things at the September meeting. We do
Mm-hmm.
not vote at the same meeting, so we
Right.
vote on them in the October meeting.
In October. Okay.
In the October meeting, council members are always free to make these propose. You can propose in January if you want, like some random thing in January. That's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I just wanted to get us all together to sort of hopefully organize this a little bit better in advance of next week. So this way we're spending less time on administrative stuff at our meeting next week, and
Hmm.
hopefully we can spend more time on more substantive stuff. Anything that I have here today, we can discuss whether to advance or not advance. If anybody has any other ideas, um, okay. Well, we'll look at I'll look at constant contact, Tam, to see that
Mm-hmm.
both your emails are there. I don't know off the top of my head. Um, but anybody can, this is just anybody here can propose anything in addition. There is no right or wrong. That's totally fine. We want to get everybody's opinions on this and everybody's feedback. Um, My suggestion, and this might go actually pretty fast because there are some pages that it's basic stuff that's not going to take time, is that I share the screen with what I sent out and we go page by page.
That'd be great.
Is
Yeah.
that
Sounds
okay
good.
with
Sounds
everybody?
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
because then I don't have to go between windows.
Yeah, no, that's fine because I have two screens, so it works out well for me. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Sam, and we can see your thumbs up.
and hopefully you only see my screen and you don't see my what I hate about the DOE website. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. Okay, let me just see. Tam is all there. Okay, so this is the first page. There's no changes. This is the table of contents that hopefully is not controversial. Let me make this a little bit smaller and let's do full screen mode so we have a little bit more. Okay. Name, I just put a definition because we talk about CECD2 during the document, so this is just a defining term. It's not anything. What I also did, and I'll just say it here, I'm not going to go through it over and over, is that I took out his or her and I made it there just so it's neutral.
Inclusive.
It's inclusive.
Neutral,
And
yes.
it's neutral, and
Yeah.
I don't, it's fine. It just makes it easier, I think, to have one thing. Also, if there's more than one at that, it's just easier than.
Hey, Craig,
Right.
can you please make it bigger?
Better?
No, like.
I can make it bigger. I was trying to get as much into one page, but
I can't see it that small.
you're younger than me. You should be able to see
I
everything.
know, but it's like too much chaos. Can you just
Okay,
make
is
it
this better?
bigger?
Is this better?
Not really.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry. Much better. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. I can, is that?
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let me just get it so that it's all, how's this? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
thank
good.
you.
Okay. So then the next page, so some of the language, and you can go through is there. So in the face member guide, which I don't know if you can see, you
Yep.
can see my screen. Everybody has, there's a template of the bylaws, and our thing is based upon it. But there's some verbiage that is a little bit different that says the exact same thing. And I tried to just get this to conform a little bit more with the face template. It's not changing. Like if you look at the 3.2, the vice president, where I just took out the vice president shall also, and it's not changing anything substantive. It's just trying to get it to look more like the face and DOE template. If people have objections to that, they speak up, forever hold your peace. Recording secretary, we do have I did add motions and resolutions. That's from the template, but the we do have motions as well, and that actually goes into the minutes. So
Mhm.
we do that. Again, this is just all verbiage, duties versus functions, discharge, it's the same thing. The treasurer works with the does work with the administrative assistant on getting reimbursements, but there is actually a designated person at the DOE that the treasurer and that Victor works with on reimbursements and all of our transactions and everything gets paid. So that's just adding the fact, acknowledging that person exists. That's Sunny, right, Victor? Well, that was Sunny.
Yeah, we haven't yet to find a replacement yet, but I'm sure they'll
Oh.
let us know soon.
Oh, Sunny left? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I like Sunny. Okay. Again, this is just wordsmithing to get it in compliance, implementing and monitoring. It's preparing budgets, regular financial reports. It's basically saying the same thing. Vacancies, again, this is just conforming with the guidelines. This isn't changing anything because we would have a special election at the same meeting if there was a vacancy in a officer position anyway. So this is just codifying it. If an officer resigns, the standard is 3 days for me to inform, for the president to, I shouldn't say me, for the president to inform the rest of the council. We had 5 days. I don't know why it was 5 days. I think 3 days is, I think that's better. I don't think that should be controversial because it actually informs everybody quicker. There's no reason to hide. If the vice president resigns, then tell everybody right away. Probably should be 1 day, but 3 days is fine. People, have lives. Removal of the
Wait,
officer.
Craig, can you back up a little bit to that?
Yes.
Sorry, just right there. Should it be 3 business days? I know I'm getting technical, but
That's fine. I mean, like if somebody resigns on a Friday, to me, like let's say Erin is president, okay? If somebody resigns on a Friday, does it really, she can send an email out on the weekend that says, you know, Sabina resigned as treasurer. I don't think that's a big deal. I'm happy to do business days, but like, this is not something that, like, to me, this is not an onerous task. This is sending out an email that says such and such resigned. That's it.
Right, no, I get that. I just think that some people try to limit, you know, hours that they're operating, you know, their families are online or, you
That's
know,
fine. I'm okay.
holidays or whatever. I just want to give that extra. And I sometimes don't read email on the weekend if I'm like freaking out about something else.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, does anybody object? I don't really, it adds more time. I don't really care. It's fine with me. Okay,
It's fine with me. I don't care.
okay. And that probably gets to 5 days anyway, you know, on a weekend, that makes it 5 days anyway. So it's easy. Okay. Okay, removal of officers.
Thank you.
No, my pleasure. This is what we're here for. Again, this is wordsmithing. This is basically saying the same, you know, this that's coming out is basically saying the same thing, and this is from the handbook. So, and then we remove officers. I think you generally do it at the calendar meeting, not the working business meeting. The calendar meeting is the first meeting, you know, that we have, you know, how we have the first meeting and then the second short meeting that we're rushing through. It's generally done at the calendar meeting, not the business meeting. You know, I don't think it really makes much of a difference, but this is the best practice, I was told. Does anybody have any objection to that? Personally, I like the calendar meeting anyway because people sometimes leave early, you know, if it gets to like 9:30. So I'd rather it done sooner rather than later if we have to do this. Sorry, let me do that. Any objections?
No.
Okay. This is literally, I moved Article 3 from after to before. It doesn't change anything. This is just, again, wordsmithing. It's not changing anything at all. Fully informed, they use the word aware. I don't know if it's really much of a difference, but you know.
Wait,
Do you, I mean, you're the English professor, Tam. Do you,
I know, public which the community be fully,
that aware is what?
I think aware, yeah, that requires something on their part. So I think informed, because that requires something on our part, right?
So you wanted to be informed.
Yeah.
Does anybody object?
No.
Oh, sorry, I did that wrong. Sorry. I want to reject. And I want to reject. Okay. You good with everything else?
You're talking to me.
I'm talking to the collective you.
Okay, yeah, all good.
Okay. This is just saying the word one as that's the dealing with many legal documents. You generally put both. This is the pronoun. It's fine. This was an extra space, so I just removed the extra space. I'm assuming nobody has any objection. The next thing is actually what the rule is. The rule is actually, and this is in the FACE guidelines, is that if somebody's out, you have up to 15 days after the CEC to say that this is why I was out and I needed an excusal. And I think the reason why is because let's say the meeting is this next Wednesday. Let's say 15 minutes before the meeting, you get into a car accident. Your first thing is not going to be, oh, let me ask for an excusal from the meeting. You have to give people some reason. Things happen, like, and it's fine. So this is just codifying what's in already the FACE guidelines. And we had an example last time where somebody didn't properly tell me and they told me after, and it's fine. It's whatever, things happen.
So just to clarify, Craig, such other reasons may be deemed valid, provided that they are delivered in writing to the CEC. So is that the CEC chair? Is that everybody?
I mean, the way we've always worked it,
or president, sorry,
is the president and you suppose
do we want to be specific there then?
Yeah, because like members shall notify the president, administrative assistant. So you want me to say?
Do the same thing there if you can, please.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. No, you're
then 15 days after the absence and are approved by vote of the CEC. Does that mean they're voting to if it was if it can be an excused absence? Like, are they voting on the validity of the
Yeah, I mean-
absence being excused? That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah, so the way I always approached it was we're voting on the minutes, and the minutes show the excusal. So I deem that as me personally, and nobody's objected, that's the approval, is that it's in the minutes.
Can we put something about that, like the minutes? Just because like the way it is
Okay.
now, it just kind of leaves it open to like, we can take a vote and be like, no, that's not really an excused
Okay,
absence.
so
Right?
those 2 minutes and are approved by the vote of the
Not that anyone would do that, just like very clear.
of the ratification of the minutes. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, good
Thank
idea.
you.
Held, convened, and it's fine. Okay. This is literally saying the exact same thing, except it's just worded a little differently. What it's basically saying, which is the rule, is that at the beginning of a new CEC term, the person who runs the meeting at the very beginning is the senior officer from the previous term. If there is nobody, then Victor runs it, or the administrative assistant will run it. So let's say I wasn't reelected, it would have been Daniela, because this is a face thing. This is not us. Daniela would have run the meeting at the beginning, but she would have been the one to say, okay, who's going to run the election? So, I mean, she literally talks for 2 minutes. You talk for 2 minutes. Who's going to run the election, have that vote, turns it over to that person, and then that person turns it over to the next president, to the newly elected president. This is the face rule. This is not our rule, but this is just saying the same thing in face language. And you can take a look at it. But like, somebody has to be the quarterback in the, first couple of weeks. Somebody has to take charge and administratively run things for a couple of weeks. Let me know if you're okay. I'm gonna wait. And this should be convened, not convent. And if you don't want me to change it, that's fine with me also. Again, it's not changing anything of substance, in my opinion.
No objections.
Aaron,
Yeah,
Tam?
I don't have any objections. I mean, it's really just worded differently.
Right,
Yeah, it's actually the same.
yeah. Tam?
Yep, good.
Okay. This is calendar meeting, just, again, it's face language, but it's saying the same thing, just, cleaning up the language a little bit.
Is my background noise too loud?
I'm not hearing any background noise.
No, totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hear any.
I'm in front of a kid's school, like 2 of them. Okay,
Let me know if everybody's ready for me to.
Yeah, sure.
ready.
Ready.
The change here was just making it 2 paragraphs. That's why there's no writing. It's just, I'm assuming nobody has an objection. Special meetings, it's moving this up to here, just making 1 paragraph, so that's not changing anything. Nobody really does telephone notice anymore. Email or written, I think, is fine. I personally, I don't like telephone notice because there's no documentation that it happened. And if I did that, then Sabina can say, well, no, you never called me. I don't, so email or written, I think, is better anyway, because there's a documentation.
Mm-hmm.
And stating that we have to have public notice,
Mhm.
which I think is, inherent, but it's also good to say it. Sorry, let me get that out of the way. Everybody okay with that?
Fine with me, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it always the PA or the PTA presidents, current coordinators, whatever, that put out the announcements? Because I
That's Article 3,
We
Section
do
1.
not consistently get notices. So I'm
So-
wondering, it's never the SLT.
So in terms of like noticing to the families of the school,
Yeah, like we don't get
but we
any.
actually, so that's a good, so at the first, I know you had your meeting with McGuire last week.
Yeah.
Russ, Aaron, and I were at the first one, and that we brought that up. And we asked them, because it's not really our place to tell the parent coordinators that they have to do this. It's really Kelly's place, McGuire's place. So we asked them to do that.
Okay.
What I also made sure we did after that meeting is I made sure that we have in our email distribution list, all of the parent coordinators and all of the principals. So now they are all added to the database. So they can't say they don't know about it.
Yeah.
We asked Kelly and what's her name, Lalita to ask the parent coordinators, because that's a big thing, and they're also going to discuss, supposedly that's going to be an agenda item on the President's Council meeting, the first President's Council meeting. I don't know if that's
Awesome.
happened yet, but because the President's Council is where you get all the PTA presidents, and then Lalita also has a meeting with all the parent coordinators. That I know she does that. So
Okay.
we've asked their help in doing that, and we've also ensured that communication is directly going to the parent coordinators and to the principals.
Gotcha.
So that's a good point, and it was something that did come up last month.
It's definitely an issue.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, and like it's on our PTA calendars, like we put it on our, because in fact they were asking me yesterday, when is the October meeting? So like it's on our calendars. As to whether or not people show up, that's up to them. But
Okay.
Okay. This is just an extra space. Okay. Oh, we did this already. Okay. Okay. This is just saying instead of a majority, any decisions on the executive session require the approval of the whole number of the council, but this states that it's specific, not less than a majority. We're saying like it's a majority, like you need to, it's a wordsmithing, but you need a majority to do anything, and we do roll call votes on that type of stuff, as opposed to like, hey, everybody just raise your hand. We don't really do that for that, and I think it's good also just to have that recorded. Executive sessions, we're basically specific. Again, this is a face thing. We're specifically saying that executive sessions have to be in compliance with open meetings law, which is inherent anyway, but we're saying it. Everything we do has to be in compliance with New York State open meetings law. Everybody good with that? Again,
Yep.
saying anything exciting. We'll get to video conferencing in a second. I know everybody's excited about that. Okay, so I did take out in terms of I'm just going to leave it back here. Executive session. I don't know why this was put in. It's not in the face one, that we would have an executive session to discuss preparation, grading, or administration of exams. I don't know any circumstance where this would ever apply. It's not in the face guidelines. So I'll answer your question in a second, Tam. Because I want to address that, because I talked about that with Victor. I think I might have talked about it with Victor, but just on this one last point, I took out, because we're never going to prepare, grade, or administer an exam as a CEC. So I took it out because, I mean, we could leave it in, but like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's like, I don't see a scenario where we ever prepare, grade, or administer an exam.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I thought it's weird. So
Very weird.
yes.
It's like exams to.
So at the last meeting, Tam, the last CEC meeting, Tam, the one that you were online, I don't know if you remember, we talked about doing or was it last meeting? Or it was one of the call. Oh, it was one of the. It was the call last month with McGuire. We talked about doing a flyer. And
Yes.
and if you noticed at the last meeting, I did a flyer. And I attached it. And the flyer is pretty, because as you know, Tam, when you ask Office of Language access to translate anything, they take a week to do it. It's not like they're quick. So what I did is I created a flyer, and I meant to ask people for this month, but I apologize, I didn't. A flyer that is generic, like it's like, this is the meeting date, this is the stuff we're doing, the reviewing resolutions, we're having the superintendent's report, principal report. It's stuff that we're gonna do every single month. And what my plan is to have Victor do is have Office of Language Access translate that into, I think it's not 7 anymore. It's more like it's a lot of languages now. I don't know how many, but they added I think a few languages over the summer. And that would be attached. All of the languages, all of the translated flyers would be attached to our meeting notices every month.
So that would also go, that would be the
Yes,
same
that
thing
would be the same
the
thing that would
schools
go.
be sending out. Okay,
But
great.
But this
Awesome.
way, if it's generic enough, all we need to do, and that I think we can do on our own, is change the date and the location.
Perfect.
Because and there's and there was a QR code to get to the resolutions.
Right.
So like we don't have to put the resolution names on there. And honestly, our resolution names, I'm not going to say who, but somebody makes very long names on our resolution names. So it can take up a lot of space on a flyer. And like if you have too much stuff on a flyer, people don't look at flyers, in my opinion.
No, it's an accessibility issue too.
Right. So I wanted to keep it generic. So to your point, yes, Tam, I apologize I didn't get it done for this month, but I will get it done for next month.
No, I think it's
That's
awesome.
the
Thank
idea.
you for doing it.
That's
I
the
know
idea.
it's been a problem.
Yeah.
When it just
And-
goes out in English. Yeah.
And by the way, I think but when we redid the website last term, it was like at the beginning of last term,
Mhm.
the website is now translatable into a number of languages, and it
Yeah.
also it's accessible like light and all that. You know how like there's the accessibility for you need low light and high light and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
the website itself is also accessible.
I have a question though. So once in a while, a resolution is put up at the last minute, right?
Yeah.
Within that 20, outside of 24 hours, right? That's like the thing that has happened in the past, or a resolution will appear 24 hours out from a meeting, sometimes 48, right? That's not going to be able to be translated, knowing,
if you
OLA is not quick on that at all. So I'm wondering what happens in that kind of circumstance, and maybe
So-
Victor knows.
I'll comment and then Victor can comment. Even if we gave it to them on Friday when people sometimes submit them, they take like 10 days to
I know.
translate things. So there's really no way. The only thing we could potentially do, which is more work, but we could do it, is instead of putting up the resolutions as PDFs on the website, we could include them as text also. And then I guess we can see how this works out. The website can translate it. It's not an official translation. Google,
Yeah.
I think Wix uses Google. Google translation is, as you know, is not perfect, but it's something. But we could try to do that. But unless we get a resolution in 10 days before.
Oh, I know. It's been a
mean-
major issue. Like
Right,
it was a
and
major issue on CCSD. I mean, it's not just us. Like I'm
No,
like,
I understand,
we're
right.
bringing it up and we're doing this good work of getting these flyers translated and whatnot. I think that's like, it's an issue when you can't read, the resolution before going into the meeting.
Yeah, no, I get
For
it.
some parents, but the thing that, before I forget, because I will forget, the public often doesn't see that there's been a resolution added unless they just decide to go to the CEC website and look. I'm wondering if there's
Well,
some
if somebody was to give it
thing
to
that
me,
can go out that's like,
Yeah.
here's a new resolution that
Oh,
we
no, it's-
added to the public.
so the one time this happened last term, this happened once. It happened the term before, 2 terms ago, much more. I was not on as you know, Tim, I was not on the CEC that year. They did that a lot. Last year, we did that once, and my recollection, and I could be wrong, my recollection is I added it to the website and we sent out another, like we generally do a reminder email, a reminder email, and it was on there as well. And I think I might have even, don't quote me, I don't remember, it was 2 years ago. I might have even say newly added or
Yeah, if we could
like
do
that.
something like that where it's highlighted, like newly added,
Right.
adds up, blah, 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 just to call people's attention to it. Cause sometimes they're just like, oh, meeting reminder.
Yeah, no, the only thing I can't do, and this happened, I think this happened in the previous council, not mine, is that like if somebody gives it to me like 5 minutes before, which they're allowed to
Oh,
do.
no, I get that.
And,
Yeah.
I can't do that. It's just too much to deal with. But no, I'm not. Yeah, if somebody gives it to me 24 hours before, we absolutely should be highlighting it. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's what we did last time, but I only think there was one time that it was done it was at the beginning of the term, last term. I think that's what we did, but it was 2 years ago, and I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, so I apologize. Okay. So can we move on?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Video conferencing. Okay.
Wow. Here
Wow.
we go.
So,
Woo! Brain overload, red text. That's a lot.
so this is so I had gotten from from governance their language, which was they
Mhm.
had done this right after the open meetings law was adjusted or a couple of years ago. So they did this. So this is them. This is not me writing this. So I'm not that eloquent and I'm not that interested. But this is their language. Now, just for more so for the newer folks, all of these procedures are based on what is in the New York State open meetings law. So there are specific rules that we have to follow. So for
Mhm.
example, we cannot do when there was the COVID state of emergency declared by the mayor, CECs and all public bodies were allowed to meet fully remote. And that's why many of you probably went to those meetings and saw it fully remote. Once we got back to in-person meetings, the open meetings law was adjusted to allow for what's called hybrid. You can't do fully remote. And one of the rules is, for example, you have to have a majority in a fully accessible, meaning the public can go, location. So in other words, if we have 12 members and 9 members were doing remote, it is not a valid meeting.
Mhm.
So you have to still have and the majority for us is 7, no less. Even if we have 7 members, the majority is still 7. That's a defined term again by
Mhm.
education law. So that's a rule that we can't circumvent.
Mhm.
Another rule that I think is in here also is so 2 other rules that I want to highlight. If you are doing it remotely, your camera has to be on. You can't have your camera off. Again, that's not us deciding this. That's the state legislature and Governor Hochul who decided this. So that's the rule. In addition, you can be out, but it has to be for what are called extraordinary circumstances. And extraordinary circumstances, and quite frankly, we can decide for what extraordinary circumstances are, but it includes disability, illness, caregiving responsibilities, or other significant or unexpected factor or event which precludes the member's physical attendance at such meeting. Now, when they say caregiving responsibilities, we're all parents, and you can't say, I'm going to miss every meeting because I have a kid. Then it's not really extraordinary, right? But like if something happens and like your partner or your co-caregiver cancels at the last minute, or they're sick and they can't do, that's extraordinary. That's an extraordinary. Something happens, or you're sick, at the last minute, we get sick. Someone gets COVID, sometimes get the flu. I know at CCHS, somebody had like monkeypox. I don't know, somebody had like something like a bad flu, and like they didn't want to come in, and like quite frankly, having sat next to somebody at the last term who was sick and was sneezing on me the entire time, and then I got sick, I don't want them there either. So, but
Yeah.
that's it has to be extraordinary. You have to be the one that you can.
What if it is a work-related conflict? Like you have to choose between something that you have to do for work, right?
Well, it's any other significant or unexpected factor or event which precludes the member's physical attendance. If it's unexpected, like if it's significant, like Tam, if you had like an offsite, a planned offsite for your whole department, I'm not going to say where you work, but your plan for your whole department, like an offsite that everyone in your department, all of the professionals in your department had to be at, and it's in Greenwich, Connecticut. I mean, that's a significant to me. I mean, people could disagree, but to me, that's a significant event that precludes you from your physical attendance at such meeting. If you were having, that offsite every single month,
No, I'm thinking it for everyone, right?
but
But I'm thinking like I can
using
only speak
right,
to what I do. Like sometimes there'll
right,
be a student event that I'm running in the evening or a
right,
panel that I'm running or whatever it is, right? And that
right.
I'm the only person doing that thing. I try not to schedule ever around, like this is, I don't see it happening, but it could happen.
But it could happen. No, and listen,
To anyone here, you could have a work emergency,
Ab-
or there's something that you have to go to, you know?
right.
Okay.
I will say what I think personally, and Aaron, Sabina, and Russ can chime in if they disagree. But what you just as an example, I would consider that an extraordinary circumstance.
Okay.
I would. Now, 9 other members of the council could deem otherwise. I would hope that we would all be reasonable and not try to weaponize this type of stuff,
Yeah,
because
totally.
I
Yeah.
could see certain,
Right, right.
I'm not trying to accuse anybody. I can see certain people in the world, not specific on the council, trying to weaponize that. I would hope
No,
that we're
absolutely.
all grown-ups
Yeah.
and we're all reasonable. Now, if every month Russ had an extraordinary circumstance, I think that we could call Russ out. I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's
it's weird. Yeah.
and I'm just picking on you because you're on top left, so that's why.
It's okay. It's okay.
But if it's every once in a while, and I think we all can be reasonable, and some people may have life situations that it happens a little bit more than others, and that's life, and we all are parents, and we all have jobs. Some of
No,
us.
like I have a son with epilepsy.
Same.
And his triggers are if like he's very, very tired, or if he has a little cold or something,
Mhm.
and like that could happen at any time. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's like, and every time I leave him, I fear something is going to happen.
Absolutely.
So that's why sometimes I will have to be late and wait, because I have to wait for my husband to get home. So somebody is there, because I don't like to leave him longer than an hour
No.
and stuff. So, or if my husband has like something after work on that particular day and I feel uneasy leaving him, I will choose to stay. I don't
Yeah.
care. He's more important to me.
And that would come under
Of course.
caregiving
Yeah.
responsibilities, right, Sabina? So I think that's
100%.
actually covered in there. It's disability, which is absolutely epilepsy, right? And caregiving responsibilities. And I
And I think
remember
that's
Sabina, you
the
bringing that up, right? Before,
Yes, yeah.
like
Right.
wanting to have hybrid meetings so that you could fully participate,
Yes.
because that is an issue that you can't you can't control the timing,
Right.
Yes.
you know.
And you
Yeah.
can't control we cannot control anything related to medical issues or
Yeah.
any sort of disability. So I think that the reason, I'm here, I'm a big proponent of this because it's an accessibility issue, and we are all parents, and this is, I don't think this should be controversial in any way. We should make the meetings as accessible as possible to council members.
Now, if somebody said they had an extraordinary circumstance and you saw their background and it's the beaches of like the Virgin Islands, I don't know that really counts, but more power to them. And if they're there, they shouldn't be on the.
I mean, this
Oh,
was an
it should be
issue to bring up really quickly. This became an issue on the CCSE last term, right? Where we had to have quorum in person, and then others were joining because of extraordinary circumstances, because whatever it was, they were online. What happened was the same people
right.
coming to the in-person meetings every month to make that quorum and starting to feel really resentful
Right.
that they were the ones holding the fort down every time. So it gets into, that kind of territory as well, where we have to kind of look at like, okay, you haven't been here six times, or like.
Right. But yeah, and when I was on, as you know, as some of you know, I was on Community Board 5, and I wrote the policy for this when we got the hybrid. We actually were afraid of that because we knew certain people were going to abuse this. Like, you have 50 members, and like some people, or you just know them. So we actually, and I don't think we need to do this now. I don't think we should do this, but we actually put in a policy like you're only allowed like 3 extraordinary. Like after that, like it's done, like resign. Like but I don't think we should do that because I don't think anybody here will do that and play games like that. And like if somebody has a specific situation where they need to have more extraordinary, I get it. Like that's fine. If like somebody always has every single month has a work event,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's different. And I think we can all be grown-ups about it and deal with it.
No, and I think if that happens, like if there's someone who, they might have that awareness already, like, look, I really want to serve on this council, but I'm really unable to be there consistently, and they really deserve to have someone there consistently doing the work.
Right.
You know, so I'm gonna step down, right? If that just becomes the case, and once in a while it does, right?
Right.
Once in a while it absolutely happens.
There is one workaround, just so you know. So the quorum has to be at publicly noticed and accessible places. In theory, let's say we're having issues with quorum, and Erin is one of the people who has the extraordinary circumstance because she has to be at home. If we noticed Erin's home address and allowed members of the public to hang out in her apartment during the meeting, that actually she would count towards the in-person quorum. I am not recommending this because I don't think Erin wants strangers to come into her apartment, but I'm just saying, like, in theory, you could do that. I think actually another CEC did that because someone like had a work thing that they had to be in like Tarrytown or something like that, and they actually opened up the office conference room, in nobody's going to go to Tarrytown for this, up in Westchester, but like that's how they got around it. But like, I'm just saying that does exist. Like if we ever had a problem, like like if Tam, if you had your offsite up in, I'm not saying if you had an offsite up in Greenwich, Connecticut, theoretically, knowing that nobody's going to show up, we could, open it up, to a place in Greenwich, Connecticut. But anyway, that's, getting creative, and hopefully we never have to get that creative. Okay. So yeah, that's number 4, by the way. That's if it's participating in a physical location open to the public, like Erin's apartment. Sorry, Erin. I picked on Russ before, so I'm going to pick on you this time. Okay. The council shall ensure that its members can be heard, seen, and identified. So this is the video conferencing. We do place cards or red placards anyway, and if you're on screen, you have your name up. It's fine. Okay. The minutes are the minutes. We always put them up. That's fine. The public notice shall inform for the meeting shall inform the public. Now, I think we could do in terms of the circumstances. One of the things we have to do, and we'll do this for the next meeting, is once we have the bylaws set, and we can do this simultaneously next meeting, we have to have a policy, and FACE has a formal policy which we can adopt of like what the rules of engagement are. It's similar to what's in here, and it has to be conspicuously posted on the website, so like somebody could see it. So the public notice from the meeting can link to that website, because otherwise we're going to have, a 3-page public notice, and nobody wants that. And then we always say, on our public notices for our meeting, where the meetings are, how you can access it, what's your website address, etc. The council should provide that each open portion of the meeting shall be recorded, and such recordings are posted or linked on the council's website within 5 days and available for 5 years. That's easy because our YouTube is available 30 seconds after the meeting is over. So go to our YouTube page, you can watch it that night, which I know Russ will do every time. If members are authorized to a private location, the council shall provide the opportunity for members of the public to view such meeting by video, so in other words, they can see you. And it also says that if we're allowing us to do it remotely and allowing us to participate, that's this here, they can as well. We can't do something, we can't do something that our constituency can't do. Good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay. Okay, open meetings are consistent with ADA guidelines. In-person participation requirements shall not apply if there's a state disaster. So if the governor or the mayor, the mayor can do it also, the city. If something happens, God forbid, the mayor or the governor just says there's a state of emergency, we can go back to remote. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because that would mean, something bad has probably happened. The only thing that I could see is like if there's a really bad snowstorm or a rainstorm, occasionally, like how the mayor will say, well, the disaster, we're doing a state of emergency. And if we had a meeting that night, I would be all for none of us having to go out and just doing it remotely, because none of us want to travel. And that's this. so we would do this, we would have this. The only concern that I have on the remote or hybrid, I should say, and we'll have to figure out the right solution, is just the AV. You know, it's always an issue. You have to get a school, and this will be incumbent upon me and Victor. Not only that it has good AV, but it's like good AV that actually you could hear the TV, not just they could hear us on the stage, but we can do it on TV. If we ever got to a place where we think 1 million people aren't coming to our meetings, and let's say they just do it remotely, we could potentially do what CCSH and CCSE do, which is have it at Tweed. They have a conference room. It's big, but it's not big enough for 100 people. But if we find that most people are, more people are doing it remotely, then we could potentially do that because that's pretty easy and you know what you're getting, it's the same place, so consistent. So we could potentially do that. I think that would be a good idea. Tweet is pretty convenient, in terms of it's by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like every train in the city almost trains in the city. I don't say every, but most trains in the city go there. And to be honest, if we're doing it hybrid, I think less members of the public will show up, physically. But, we'll have to work through that. That's an operations matter. I don't think that's a bylaws matter. So that's this. Before I go on, and I'm not finished with this, but I have one more other thing on the open meetings and with the remote. But does anybody have any questions on these 12 points before I go on?
No questions.
Cam?
Nope.
I only call out because I can't see you because everyone else is nodding. So I'm not trying to. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay,
So-
and Craig, I have to leave. I have a dental
Okay.
appointment. So, but
You need to do.
I'll be at the meeting on Wednesday.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay.
We'll be happy to
Okay.
see you. Okay.
Okay. Okay, bye.
Hi,
Bye.
Sabina.
Sabina.
Bye. Nice to meet
Bye.
you. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. So another council member has submitted very similar guidelines, separate from what's in here. I admittedly have not, I don't know, Erin, did you go through them yet? I have not.
I skimmed through, but I can go through,
I mean,
and
Were
compare.
they different? I mean, I think that this is from Face, so I don't see why they would be different unless.
Not at first glance, but again, like I just
Right.
did it on my phone, so I have to go through and read it.
I would like, and by the way, if there's anything different I have to post this today. I should post this today,
Hmm.
tonight. But like, if there's anything like that to be added, I doubt it's going to be controversial. I'm happy to add. But like, what I would really like is to have everything in this document and not have a separate this document and then another document that has something almost mirroring it. Like, it's just not efficient
Right.
to me, and it makes us look unprofessional in that we're warring with each other over something that we're really not. I would like that to be the case.
Hmm.
I would like to ask Erin if you could navigate through that for me. I
Hmm.
think it'd be easier. I think it would be just for a whole bunch of reasons. It would be better if you did that as opposed to me
Okay.
if you took that off my plate. Are you
Yeah,
comfortable with
yeah.
that? Okay. So
I
think
mean, and do we need to? So we need to have this done. So I can do it this afternoon.
So in theory, we have to have we have to have resolutions up 72 hours, 72, 3 business
Mhm.
days before the meeting. We have to have public documents up 72 hours. That's not 3 business days. So in theory, we would not be violating open meetings law if we did this over the weekend.
Hmm.
I suspect that there may be people who will not make that distinction and want to be more conservative. So I would like to get everything up.
Hmm.
If we can always change it, like it's
Right.
fine, but like if I'd like to send out like the meeting announcement tomorrow or tonight or tomorrow, which people will link to this. So like I'd like to get it all done today, but like if we don't, the worst thing is we're not voting on it anyway on Wednesday.
Right. This is just being
Right.
presented.
But I don't know if you
Okay.
have time today, and I don't know if that council member has time today.
I will. I mean, I'll have time to go like compare
Yeah.
them and see if I flag anything, and then I can discuss and see.
And by the way, if
See
there's
where we're at.
anything like to be added, I'm also fine with just adding it and having one document.
Mhm.
And I don't think that I would not think there's a reason why that council member would want something separate if it's
Mhm.
already in this document. Like,
Mhm.
just have one unified thing. That's just my suggestion.
Okay,
People can disagree,
got it.
but I think it's also more, I don't want to waste time having to explain. I mean, if there's significant differences, a positive, that's fine. But if it's the
Right.
same thing, I don't want to waste 20 minutes on Wednesday of the public's time on
Mhm.
administrative stuff. We can
Right.
spend a better time on the river school, whatever else comes up. So
Right.
is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, Tam, are you okay with that also?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Code of conduct at meetings. Oh yeah, I took out an extra space. That little dash, that's taking out a space. There were two spaces after the. I hope that's not nobody's gonna hate that. Um, okay. Order of business. This is the other thing that I think could be controversial. So moving up the approval of the minutes, I think it's also good to get out of the way, but it's also in the face, but it's fine. This is the taking out public speaker session, this first public
Mhm.
speaker session. We're not the only one, but we're one of the few that have two public speaker sessions. What I find is that, and in the face template, they have one, and that's most CECs have just one. What I have seen in my two years of being on the council, and also I think 3 years of watching these meetings beforehand, you know, the second public speaker session is generally a repeat of the first public speaker
Same.
session.
Yeah.
It's the same people. Sometimes people get there late, and that's fine. It happens. But for the most part, it's the same people who are saying the same thing. And I'm not trying to mute anybody, but I also want to be respectful of time. I also, sometimes with our meetings, we wind up giving them 15 seconds or 30 seconds to speak. It's not meaningful to me. I'd rather just have the one public speaker session. But this is also me. This is my opinion, and I'm curious to hear what other people feel. And also the order in terms of, do we have people speak before we discuss our resolutions or after? Because there are pros and cons of both. Like, public speakers can inform our discussions, but our discussions can inform the public speakers. So, which is the argument, by the way, of keeping two public speaking sessions, right? But, I don't know that it's worth it, but, I'm curious to hear Russ, Aaron, Tam, your feelings on it.
Yeah, sure, Greg, if you don't mind. So I have a couple of thoughts. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very good point. I agree with that because I'm not very experienced here. I'm a new person here,
yeah,
but as for the last two sessions and for like YouTube records, Zoom records
right.
that were done before, I really saw that, and I can't say it's a waste of time, but anyway, yeah. So I can hear the same speech twice, and so in this case, we can do both ways. We can discuss. Just one public speaker session, or I don't know if it's possible. Maybe we can limit like one speech per one person. So we can have, for example, two sessions for those who are late, but we can limit one speech per one person. That's it. If it's possible, I don't know. What do you think? So just like for discussion.
I think that this is a hard one, right? This is a really hard one.
It's tricky.
Because I think if we moved to allowing, like we used to, right, allowing people who are joining online or public, if we allowed public speaking sessions to happen online again in a hybrid format, like we did, prior to this last term, which some people still do, like CCSE does it. I know District 20 does it. They allow for public comment in hybrid meetings. Then I think that we would need to move to one session just because of the logistics. We
Yeah.
would still be in person and we have to be out of the building by 10 o'clock, usually wherever we're at, right? So I think that if we did that, it would make sense to limit it, to everybody gets 2 minutes. Because you have more attendance, which is great. You have more people engaged. You have more people that want to talk, right? But those meetings also used to go often till midnight.
Oh
You're
yeah.
there, but we're dealing with some really heated issues. And so it has to do with like what we're talking about. Sometimes you have nobody signing up, and then sometimes you have like 30 or 50 or whatever it is. If we don't move to public comment for hybrid meetings, if we don't allow that and it's only in person,
Tam, I don't think
opposed to moving to one speaking session. I just think that it needs to be a guaranteed, minimum of 2 minutes for each speaker, because it is true that we, sometimes go so long and people sign up and they're speaking at the very end, they're tired, and then they get 30 seconds, or sometimes it gets canceled altogether because there's not enough time, and that really pisses people off.
well, we'll still have to be out by 10 because we'll be in person. So
Right, but
if
we
we
would
had
just give
but
the
if we had-
guaranteed 2 minutes.
well, if we had let's say we had 100 people, you
But
can't.
we're not going to for every meeting.
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
thing,
no, no,
we know
I-
that.
Yeah, no. I think somewhere in here it says 2 minutes on here. It says in the bylaws 2 minutes unless changed because of, somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, I
speaking-
think D20 actually gives like 2.5 to 3 minutes to each speaker.
If we only had 3 people, like 5 people, like we've had meetings where we've had very few people. Like the one time that we had the meeting, we didn't have a quorum and we had like 6 people. Victor, you remember? And I'm like, then everybody could have 4 minutes. Like it's fine. Like and the only person that took 4 minutes was Alana, who took literally 4 minutes and stopped herself at 4 minutes. Like, and she didn't. And I said you can go on, and she didn't want to. Like nobody wanted to do it. So like if we have very few people, we could be flexible. I'd like to just say it's easier to be flexible, start with 2 and say, well, if we have very few people, we can go to more, as opposed to saying 3 minutes and cut people, because that I think adds tension when you start saying, well, I made a speech for 3 people. Someone comes in and says, well, I made my speech for 3 minutes and now you're cutting me to 2, even though you have 100 people, I
Well,
think.
that's why you would have a sign-up sheet. I think that what you could do, like kind of what the PEP does, right? They have a sign-up sheet for public speakers. And at a certain point, and this is
It
true for
closes.
CCHS too, right? At a
I would
certain
like to
point, it
close that. Yes, I would like
closes.
to do that. Right.
Right, and
They
that
have
way.
it closes
6:30.
like it's 6:30, right? So you've got to be signed up
And I think
Right. Although your friends can do it for you,
gives
because we can do
even
it
extra
electronically.
time.
Yeah.
They give
or
like
electronically.
during.
Right. So we will. So theoretically, because this is a gripe, and I know Victor and I have discussed this, of people saying they were on the sign-up sheet, but they were not on the sign-up sheet, and coming at the end, and it's hard to plan at the beginning at 6:30. We're going to say 2 minutes per person or 3 minutes, whatever it is, and then people, because you're doing that based upon the number of people that are signing up, but people keep signing up. So like I'm okay with. I would say is do the 2 minutes, but we will see early enough whether or not we can extend.
I think that we would have to allow for that. This is a problem too with PEP also, right? People are rushing to get there to sign up before the sign up closes. So if we're going to do this, not, hybrid, but if we're going to do this for in-person meetings where we're moving to one public speaking session and you have to sign up, we should allow them to sign up, electronically.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you don't have to be there.
absolutely.
That's easy enough.
And that's what PEP does also. Like, because like there are people who you've been to PEP, like I've been to PEP, and then they call out 5 names that they're not there. Like they
Well,
just.
last time I signed up and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get there because I wasn't sure if my husband was going to get home in time, and I didn't end up being able to get there. So they called my name out because I was online. I couldn't.
Right. And when CEC2 was fully remote, and you're going back, you'd remember, Tam,
Yeah.
you signed up ahead of time. Like it was on the on
Yeah,
the
you did.
on the email. I would think we would do that, and you could sign up. And you could sign up ahead of time to speak in person. I mean, that's fine with me.
I think the other thing that's going to be problematic, not problematic, but just something to consider if we do this, and I'm just talking about in-person meetings where we're not allowing the public to do public comment online. I'm just taking that piece of it right now. It should come after the discussion of resolutions before we vote on resolutions, because I think it's really important for the public to hear us discuss the resolutions and then to be able to give their input, after they hear us discuss them, right? And then we vote.
Right.
So, but the problem there is that Kelly often has a lot of information and people come to hear him and they ask so many questions in the chat. They don't realize that the council members aren't going to ask their questions to Kelly, we could create something where if they do, the Q&A system, like on Zoom, right? Or even, in public, whatever, in person, where if they have a question for Kelly and we have time, we can take some of their questions, right? In the chat, like on the Q&A thing, and ask Kelly. Like maybe we can limit it to 3 questions. We can look at how much time we have, because that's kind of giving like another level of engagement or opportunity of, for engagement. Because Kelly is not reading the chat.
So why don't we do this? I'm wondering if I need to ask Kelly ahead of time, or otherwise he'll kill me. But when we send out the meeting notice, why don't we have a line, have a question for the superintendent, click here, and we can collect, like it'll be like a Google form. I don't know, Google form.
But they might not know that they have a question until they hear his presentation.
Understood. Understood.
And this might not be doable. I'm just trying to think like how to appease the public if they're like, oh, you fuckers, sorry, I'm trying not to swear. I'm cut our public speaking session, like now we only have 2 minutes. It's like, well, if we're taking some questions, like that might be something that they're happy about,
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing because number one, it's hard for us to always look in the chat for I've done that for, Tam, that I've done that sometimes for you, but like, I can't while I'm running a meeting, like.
We just need to appoint someone to be in charge of the chat. Like
it also if there are 70 people and there are 70 questions, we're not getting,
No, it would be limited. Like we'd have a limited amount,
Right. If you look at what I just highlighted, Tam, my interpretation of this is that if we're doing it for us, we have to do it for the public. And that was what I thought. Like we can't just allow, because you keep making the point of if we do hybrid, but we don't allow people to speak. I don't think that's allowable.
Well, that's what if we move to, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Because for the last term, you couldn't be online and do public comment, right? It wasn't available like it had been before.
Right, but that's what we're getting to. And by the way, this just allows us to do that. We have to still make the decision to actually go to hybrid. This allows us to go.
That's why I'm kind of playing both sides.
But I think that at least the intention of the people on this call is not to put this in just so we have it in, but to put it in place. Put it in. So, and I think Sabina shares that, sentiment as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So where am I? Okay. So you said, okay, sorry. So you want the public speaker session after the vote? No, after the discussion. So you like this order, Tam?
Yeah.
Okay.
And how do you guys feel about that?
That makes sense to me. And also it also gives people, if somebody is running late and they really want to, they're able to sign up ahead of time, they know that they can get there at X time and they'll be able to speak. I understand the reasons in both directions, but I think that, it would be great for us to be able to run these meetings as efficiently as possible, while giving people the opportunity to have access, which is why I really strongly support the hybrid model. And with the understanding, much like with PEP, that there may be a cutoff point, for sign up and those sorts of things. I think the idea of doing having the opportunity to submit questions, time permitting, for Kelly, I think that's a great idea. And it's sort of like that's all going to be time permitting, right? But it's just one more way for people to be engaged, even if they can't physically be there.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think that if we do go down to one speaking session, that it makes more sense to do after we've had a discussion.
And we can have we can use a Q&A, on Zoom. We haven't really used that. So it's if you have a question that you'd like council members to ask Kelly McGuire after his presentation, time permitting, we will ask as many questions as, time allows, right?
Right.
We can put a time limit on it even, so that we know we can't go over whatever, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is.
Right. And I just want to say that if people keep asking the same question, but in different ways.
Right.
I think
we condense it to one question.
Right. I mean, I also don't want to unnecessarily be there till 10 o'clock if we don't have to, or, if one person keeps asking 500 questions, if they have an issue, then at that point, I think they should probably just contact Kelly and, because if they have, and also, and this, I think this goes without saying, we all know this, if they have specific questions about their student, their child, they should not
Yeah,
be asking it,
absolutely.
you know.
Right.
Yes,
It's not-
right.
So.
So I think this order suggested by Tim is reasonable.
Fine.
Yeah.
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 The only other thing I'm going to point out that somebody may complain about
Wait, I have a question.
staying late.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We could potentially, since, it could be long, the discussion of resolutions, sometimes, people will be waiting to speak. The report of committees could come over vote on resolutions.
You mean after, you mean?
Because that one's usually, like
You mean
that
after.
could be the thing that like
You mean
we
after. Sorry, you mean
we
after.
could move, right?
I'm sorry, did you say after?
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine with me. That, sorry. Oh,
Especially
yeah.
since committees don't always meet right away.
After the voting or before?
Oh yeah, after vote on resolutions. It could be like right before approval of minutes.
That's fine. I mean, I don't really care. It's fine. Yeah, because and to that point, people, will now may have to potentially, like, sometimes people speak and then run out, but, there's no great way to do this. And I suspect more people will just go online, call in remotely. We won't get people coming, which is fine. I think it's easier for people. Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody okay with this?
Yes.
Okay. This public speaker session. Do you,
Mhm.
okay, to require speakers to have to sign the speakers list and to manage time. Do you think I need to put in something in here, that they have to sign by a certain time? Do you want it codified, or do you think this is enough and we can just agree to agree?
To manage time.
I mean, we could put in that you have to sign up by 30 minutes after the start of the meeting. You
Yeah.
can't put like 6:30 or 7 o'clock because the meeting time could change, but like,
I would just say, yeah, within 30 minutes of
you want to
starting
put, okay,
the
something about
meeting.
30
Yeah,
minutes.
sounds good.
All-
Yeah.
That seems
all-
reasonable. I mean, it's what PEP
Right.
does.
Right.
Okay. Good.
And I think they seem to strike a balance of being accommodating to public speaking, but running efficiently.
We
Yeah.
do that. I
From
mean,
what I've
not me,
seen.
Emma. CCHS also does it that way.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And this way, Victor, if there's people that I don't want to hear speaking, you can go outside and hold them out for 30 minutes and then tell they can't sign in. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding. This was a mistake. It should be 12. It's not 11 anymore. This just wasn't caught last time. We used to have 11 members. Okay. Hold 12. This is just verbiage again. Regularly scheduled or special calendar. There's no proxy voting, so that is what it is. If a meeting is virtual, a council member who's unable to join may. This is addressed. I took this out because this is addressed in the whole hybrid procedure. So, okay, and there's no virtual meetings anyway. It's hybrid meetings. Okay, this we put in. This is just moving it down here, and it's audio recordings of the meetings. They're not minutes. Minutes have to be actual minutes. Like Zoom, the YouTube recording is not minutes. Some people think it is, but it's not. Okay. This is just an extra, we forgot a period. Okay. Vacancies on the council. This is just adding, if there's a vacancy on the D75 seat, we don't fill it. So this is just reflecting that we're not the ones who fill the D75. This is just the procedure. For those of you who don't know, if the D75 seat is vacant, it's the D75 President's Council that makes the decision as to who to send. We don't. If it's anybody else, if it's the borough president appointees resign, the borough president replaces them. If it's an elected member who is not D75, then then this council votes.
Is that in here anywhere, what you just said?
This?
Okay.
You mean this?
No, what you just said, like the D75 council or president, like the president's council, like how vacancies are filled, right? Like who fills them?
So I don't think they're I mean, I can write something up that says D75 in
Just so it's clear, yeah, because that might be, I know I'm being really ridiculous,
if
but
a
it might
district,
be.
if the District.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I have to pop off in 1 minute at 11:45.
Okay.
If there's anything that
I don't think there's anything else on here. This is, the parliamentarian.
Mhm.
I'll come back to this. The
I mean, I think with the
parliamentarian,
parliamentarian, the only thing is I think we should wait until we have our full council and then discuss it with the full council, because I don't think that's an urgent.
do you not want to put this in? This is not saying
Oh,
hiring
I don't.
somebody. This is just saying that it doesn't have to be an outside, it doesn't have to be in one of us. Because right
I don't
now,
want it to be one of us.
right. So the bylaws say it has to be one of
Right.
us.
Oh,
This
okay.
is
Yes.
saying we
So
can
this
engage
I
an
like.
outside
Yes,
party.
it can be an outside person. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
this
Yeah.
is just allowing us to do it, and it's a council decision. It's not
Right.
one person, I spell parliamentarian, but it's
Mhm.
not like Victor hires the person and he's the one who makes the decision, or the president does. It's
Right.
council makes it. I think I'll fix that. That's all this is. This is not
Okay.
we're
Yeah,
hiring
that
somebody.
works. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Communications protocol, and this is just legalese, face legalese. Everybody good? Is there anything that anybody wants to add that we did not discuss?
I think it might be interesting to
I'm gonna
since we're
pop off.
doing this.
Go ahead. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, Erin.
Bye.
Thanks.
Because then we can discuss it as a council, the idea of having co-presidents.
We could discuss it. I mean, I personally don't like the
I know
idea
you
of
don't.
presidents. I know
I
you know I
know.
don't, and it's just unless they're aligned, and you can wind up with people who aren't aligned. Like it's a nightmare. And the
I think
organization.
that it can also be really helpful though. I mean,
But that's why you have a vice president.
It's and District 2 is huge. It's a huge responsibility. There's a lot of work.
But that's why you have
Yeah.
you should have a vice. That's
I
where
know
the
you can have a vice president, but I'm just, it was brought up last term, or maybe it was before that, the idea of co-chair.
yeah
I'm not
somebody
saying that
wants
I'm
somebody
for it or
specific
against
to-
it. I just think that maybe we can like revisit that conversation.
Yeah, we can have that
So
conversation.
that-
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
If the District 75 member resigns, the seat shall be filled in accordance with Chancellor's Regulation D140. I'm just going to put this, Tam. I don't want to say that it's this president's, because if D140 changes
That's fine.
and they made it 60-75, then we have to
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
Like that's why we didn't, I didn't, that's why if you remember, we didn't put in, I didn't want to put anything about D210 in here. Because
No, yeah, totally. And I
was
think
gonna
this is
change.
good. I mean,
Right.
I know I'm being really anal about
No,
all
that's
this, but
fine.
it's because when we actually go to the meeting, like these things will just be clear. So like if any of it won't come, like, you know what I mean? We
Right.
don't have to waste time in a meeting.
Yeah. And
with
by the way,
questions, about clarity.
D140 does say that if the borough president appointees
Mhm.
are leave, then the borough president appoints. So we don't need to put in that in here. D140 states, the procedure for the BP appointee. So there's no question that, if the borough president appointee resigned, that there's no question we don't get involved. We're
Gotcha.
sensitive.
Russ, is that your real background? It's beautiful. I'm like, where are you?
It is real background. I'm in my office.
Your
actually.
office is lovely.
That's the real background. But
And
yeah.
I'm like, is that a real plant?
No, it is.
I love
It
it. Like it's
So, but that
zenned out.
this one is not real. These are artificial.
Oh.
This is
That
real.
one
This
is real,
is real.
right?
This is
Yeah.
real.
I was so jealous. I'm like, I kill all my plants.
Yeah. Craig, I have just one comment. There is an
Yes.
extra letter T in the word parliamentary in Article 8. That's it.
No, please. That's why this is one of the things we should fix. Okay, parliament. It looks like it's wrong. Part. That's what. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And
What do you think, Victor?
Tam will.
Looks good. Looks good so far. So we'll see.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Any potential headaches you see for yourself?
No, I think it'll work out. I like the ideas you guys put forth, so I think it'll work out in the end.
So you're okay with this, Tam?
Yeah.
Tam, I also have my son's picture here in the
Oh
note.
my
In the note. And a note from him. He says that, "Thank you, Dad. You're the best dad in the world, and I love you so much," and so on. So that
Oh
motivates me.
my God. That is so sweet.
Thank you so much. So,
Remember
yeah,
that when he's like older and being
yeah, I'm trying to keep it. Yes.
difficult, right?
So
I have
yes,
a
this is real. This is real.
I have a young teen, and it's like, oh my God, he turned a corner this summer. All of a sudden, he's just like, oh my God, you're so embarrassing. You know, I'm like, where'd my little boy go?
So, sorry, just one more thing. In terms of procedure, Russ and Tam, on
Yeah.
Wednesday, I would rather not go page by page, just because it took us an hour and a half to do this, page by
I
page.
think people should read it and come with questions or comments.
Okay, that was what I want to make sure we're all in agreement that that should be the procedure,
Yeah.
not
I
this.
agree.
That's why I wanted to do this, because I
No,
wanted
we don't need this extra 1 hour and a half. No.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
So
Victor,
can you send out an email with
I
these
will.
changes and make sure people know we're not going to read through it during the
Yes.
meeting?
oh
So
yes.
yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so I just have to add,
Do your homework, please.
yeah, so I have to add that one thing about the 30 minutes. We said 30 minutes, they have to sign
Yeah.
up? Okay,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Erin is gonna speak to the other council member to see if we can consolidate. And then I will, we'll send this out, and then I'll send an email out to everybody.
Just a clarifying question. So the sign up to speak, is it that it's going to open at the top of the meeting and then close? So they actually only have a half an hour to sign up?
No,
Or is
no,
it that it
no, that's
opens
cruel.
prior to the meeting and closes a half hour?
I mean, my suggestion is just to make it easier, that when we send out the meeting invite on, Friday or Saturday, to do it there, and like,
Yeah,
Okay,
leave it
gotcha.
open.
and leave it open, and like,
Leave it open.
you can sign up, and it's almost like an option, like,
Yeah,
so,
gotcha.
like I've done that at PEP when they, during COVID, like I've signed up and just,
Gotcha.
decided
Yeah.
not to stay awake till 2 a.m, because that's when they would get to us.
Gotcha.
Unless you disagree, but I don't,
No,
I
no,
think
no. I think that's good.
doing it between 6 and 6:30 or whatever it is,
It would be horrible. People are
it's
commuting
cool.
and it's, yeah.
And things, people, their internet isn't always okay. They don't always have internet, like it's just, I don't think I think if we did something like that, it would be viewed with such skepticism
No,
and,
no, no. I don't want that at all. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So I think we give more, I think we err on the side of giving more time, not less.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do, I don't think we can do it, is prioritize like PEP does, like PEP used to do. I don't know if they still do it, but like parents go first, well, kids go first, students go first, parents go second, community goes third. I don't think we can get away with that, though. I think it's just not
Yeah.
gonna work. So
Unless we have like a big student contingent that shows up in support or opposition to a certain resolution, like we've had that in the past, right? I think we've allowed them to go first because they're kids.
if
right?
I know
If you know ahead of time.
the time that someone is a student, then I have no problem. We've tried to do it. It's just like we don't always know. Like, sometimes, like if it's a high school senior, we don't, we can't just look at the list, and we can't even look at the kids, because I don't know if high school senior could look like they're 25 years old. So if and there's also a lot going on at our meeting. So like if somebody points it out or they note it, then the kids can go first. I'm fine with that. I mean, they shouldn't be forced to sit through a
Yeah.
long meeting. And I actually am fine with, and we could deal with this on an ad hoc basis, of if there are kids, especially younger kids, like sometimes you get the middle school kids or something, not even waiting to the public speaking session, but like
Right.
they can go first. Like let them go first if they want to leave. Like if they're like 12 years old, they don't want to sit, shouldn't have to stay up till 9.
There also was an instance, and I just want to see like how you guys feel about this. Because it could have gone either way. So as you know, last term was really intense and the meetings got
Right.
really not a good place for kids to be, right? And there were kids that definitely did not feel comfortable coming into that space and speaking. There was a letter, a testimony
Right.
that was supposed to be read during, normally it would be read during public comment session. It was a 7th grader.
Yep. I know
And
what you're talking
they
about.
submitted it to a few council members or the council, I don't remember, to have them read it into
Yes.
record, and they did sign their name, right? And it was like a vote, like you had to vote, like, is this okay that we do this? And I don't know if we want to make sure that we have that, like, it is okay, it isn't okay. Like, I would like to allow that, on a case by case basis, but I also don't want to like have it look discriminatory, like this one can be read, but this one can't. And it doesn't happen very often,
The
right?
problem I had with that, Tam, and I voted actually yes on that, but in retrospect, I may not have. And not because of who it was, it wasn't because of that, but it could be manipulated. Like, especially when in that situation, we didn't have hybrid. So like, how do I know that Russ didn't write that letter, right? Like, and then he just didn't want to show up, so he had a council member read it.
If you have a kid a seventh grader that puts their name.
Yeah, but Russ could sign his
I
kid's
mean,
name.
that was my son, by the way,
No,
that did
I
that.
know.
And I
I
am
didn't want to say
so
that, but I know.
glad that he decided not to do it in person because he was heckled by a council
Right.
member just for what he wrote.
But we're at the point now where if we do hybrid, if they don't want to, if a student doesn't want to do it even hybrid, which is fine, I get it, the parent can do it and
Yeah, if
doesn't
we
have to
do
show up.
hybrid, great. And I think that hybrid's easier because you can remain anonymous. You can have your camera
Right.
off.
And,
Right.
right.
And that is a safety net for students who don't feel
Yeah.
safe.
So
And
I think,
parents,
right. So I think if we didn't have hybrid, we can have that it's a different conversation. Since we're going to go to hybrid, or the
Right.
plan is at least,
Right.
I kind of think it's a moot point.
So
Because
just say a case by case basis, maybe.
and do it on a case by case basis. But like the comment that the thought that I had, and I'm not trying to pick on your kid, but it was like, how do I know it wasn't Tam who didn't want to show up and just didn't? I know he signed it. I realized he might have signed his name, but like I can sign my son's name. It's not that hard.
That would just be an asshole thing to do, but I think that we should always like in good faith, like think that students are, acting in good faith and not automatically assume
think the
they're being
students are. I don't know that the
manipulated by
parents are.
someone else.
Well, I
right?
don't think I don't think it would be the student that's not acting in good faith. I think it would be the parent that may not. There could be parents that would not act in good faith. I don't think a student would act in bad faith.
Well, if a parent's gonna write something and sign their student's name to it, they're an asshole.
It's weird. It's weird. Like, it would
Sorry.
be weird. But I think that there are, and by the way, that's another 25 cents in the jar, Tam. But
Sorry,
I'm just kidding. I'm gonna get you a jar.
you're gonna be a rich man, Craig.
But I think it would be weird. But as you know, there are parents who manipulate. And I'm not saying one side or the other. I'm just saying that there are, and we both know them, having been in the system for many years. But if we're going to hybrid, I think it probably addresses the situation. I hope it addresses the situation.
Yeah.
So, and yes, they can. I don't think there's a requirement for members of the public to have their screen on. I don't think there is none.
No, there isn't. Yeah.
They could, and in fact, they could use we're getting a little crazy here, but one can use a voice modulator if they really want it, I guess.
Yeah, with
but
artificial intelligence, you can do a lot nowadays.
I don't know how to do it though, and don't ask me. That's beyond me. So that if I'm not figuring that out for the meetings, so.
I can tell you because it's not me just right now. It's my AI copy.
Okay. Anything else before we go?
No, just wanted to let you know that I filled out that liaison
you,
form.
Russ.
Oh, gotta get on that.
Yeah.
Russ,
And my
Russ, listen.
priority is PS 281 because I promised
Absolutely.
parents to go there. So yeah, I would love to go there
I
because
have
I
a feeling
promised.
several people's priority is going to be 281. We'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
there's gonna be a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Make your pitch.
Fine, we'll figure it out. And then what I told you, so you know, what I told Sabina, and my thought with Sabina is not to give her any specific schools and just she's assigned D70 she's the D75 liaison because I think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for her to have like PS 183, like it's a different set, and she knows the D75 schools, so and she was
Okay.
actually happier with that. I mean, we'll see what other people.
There are some schools though that aren't, designated D75 schools that are having a lot of issues that she would be really helpful.
Oh
with
yeah,
those
yeah.
schools.
Listen,
I
if
can
there's an
talk to
issue,
her separately. Yeah.
yeah. Look, listen, at my school is 340, and we have a D75 school there.
Yeah.
If you
we have one
touch
too.
340,
Yeah.
then it's fine. Like whoever is the liaison for 340 should call her up and say, like, liaison, as you know, liaison schools are just liaison schools, but that doesn't mean that, one couldn't help at a school that's not their
Well,
liaison
we
school.
have a D75 inclusion program and a D75 program at Clinton, which nobody even knows about because they hide it like it's some dirty little secret, right? Like that's the kind of thing that like I would love to like talk to
Right.
Sabina about,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
She may not know. I don't know if she knows about him. So,
All right.
okay. Well,
Thanks,
thank you,
Greg.
everybody.
Sounds good. Thank you, Craig. Thank
This
you,
was a-
Tam. Thank you,
this
Victor.
was a-
You guys
this
are
was a-
way better than my students. Much more engaged and on task.
I just have to say one thing, Tam. If you don't give me an A and you give me an A minus for this meeting, we're going to have
And
a
you get an A. Oh God, you guys. Russ and
that's an
Jennifer.
inside joke
I
because
am
one of our
getting
students,
email after email from my NYU students. Why did I get an A minus?
right.
And I'm like, you really deserved a C plus. I was being kind. Like the A minus is like the evil thing. They're like, no. Yeah.
Anyway,
Not gonna
okay.
deal with that. All right, you guys.
Thank you,
take
everybody.
care.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks for